Hey guys, so I'm late talking about this, but I wanted to talk about the drone sighting spread beyond New Jersey as officials express outrage over federal response. So I already know that this is biblical and that the Bible speak of these things, and for years and years and years, even watching unsolved mysteries, there have been many millions and millions of Americans saying that they see UFOs all the time, and how the federal government always try to downplay it and try to make them out to be crazy, and always doing cover-ups about this and calling them, UFOs and all of this stuff, where they never want to tell you exactly what they are, and calling them aliens and inside of UFOs. So I'm gonna get into it in the next clip. Okay, so here's the problem that I have. They are calling it drones. First of all, it's not drones and it's not UFOs. It's called chariots, flying rolls. And I will get more into that as I go along with this video, and showing you scriptures where it talks about this in the Bible. And so for them to say it's drones, that's the Most High's heavenly transportation for the chosen true biblical Israelites who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments as our deliverance, transportation, and heavenly beings that he's using to fly around also is for the heathens and for our people's destruction who's not keeping the law. But before we dive more into that, I want to discuss more about this news article. Authorities in New York, Maryland, and Connecticut have joined the chorus calling for a more urgency from the federal government to the mysterious unidentified flying objects. So, yet again, the Bible talks about this in Zephaniah or Zechariah. I want to say Zechariah. And I'm going to provide the scripture where it talks about flying rolls. So this is them. They don't even know that they're giving it away, while they're trying to, in the same breath, try to keep it covered up as a cover up and downplaying it. But the Bible speaks to these flying rolls that they're saying that are flying objects, and I'm gonna get into that with the scripture in the next clip. But saying that they're unidentified because they don't know what they are. So yeah, let's get into it. Zechariah 4 in verse 14. Then said he, these are the two anointed ones that stand by Yahuwah of the whole earth. Zechariah 5 verses 1 through 4. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Verse 2. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, and I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Verse 3. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side, according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side, according to it. Verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So basically what this is saying is the Edomite kingdom is symbolizes the thief. And when I was looking at the Unsolved Mysteries, that very old TV show from that's been around for years now, I remember the heathen, the Edomite, saying that they had saw a UFO, because they call them UFOs, aka the chariots, said that they saw it hovering over them like they were separating like the thief from the righteous. I cannot lie. I can't make this shit up. They actually said this on the Unsolved Mysteries when they were being interviewed by the TV host, and they were explaining how that's how they felt and how it was hovering over them, and it was like a flying object hovering over them and like monitoring their wickedness, like monitoring. I can't say by verbatim what the person said during the interview on the Unsolved Mystery TV show, but I cannot make this shit up. They said, the Edomite said out of his own mouth that he kept, and it was other Edomites that were also witnessing that they saw flying objects hovering over them and like monitoring their actions and behaviors, and like flying through and to, just like the scripture said, flying over them. And they said they kept seeing them flying and hovering over them and going back into like basically like the heavens. But I'm paraphrasing my understanding and breaking down what they were trying to explain in the on the TV show during the interview. But they literally said exactly what this scripture said. So I was like blown away when they were saying this, and I'm not making this stuff up. I saw this on the Unsolved Mysteries. Ezekiel chapter 1 verses 9 through 22. Verse 9. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. Verse 10. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side. They four also had the face of an eagle. Verse 11. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. Verse 12. And they went every one straight forward, whither the Spirit was to go. They went, and they turned not when they went. Verse 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Verse 14. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Verse 15. Now as I beheld, the living creatures beheld one wheel upon the earth, by the living creatures with his 4 faces. Verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and their 4 had one likeness in their appearance, and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Hey guys, it's raining, so you will hear raining in the background. Verse 17. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. Verse 18. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes around about them 4. Verse 19. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Verse 20. Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Verse 21. When those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood, and when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Verse 22. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. So basically this symbolic to the so-called drones that they saw, and during the news and the article, according allegedly, and I'm saying not by verbatim but paraphrasing what the person said in the interview on this article, about that the drones were the size of an SUV truck or car, but a large like sedan like size. The drones were that size. So these scriptures that I just got through from reading, they are chariots, not drones. This is what they were describing that they're going to downplay. And when the scripture said eyes, when you go back to the article of them saying that they saw large drones the size of an SUV and a whole bunch of lights up under it, that's what the scripture was saying when it's symbolic. When it was saying eyes, those eyes represents the lights that were up under the chariots, like a whole bunch of lights. So that's what they're basically seeing, but they're not going to tell you that. The government is going to continue to cover it up and not going to tell you that. And these chariots are going to be used as weapons as well as the children of Yezreel's deliverance against the heathen. So just like when I was reading in Zechariah about the flying rolls. So the flying rolls are the flying objects that they see, the UFOs that they call, as they call them. That's what that scripture is describing. And in Ezekiel, it's also describing the chariots. So chariots or flying rolls is the proper term of what they're identifying and seeing, that they're calling unidentified objects and drones. So this is the proper term for them that they're not going to tell you. And hopefully that didn't go over your head. For people that's already awakened, they already know about all of this. This is just me just covering this story because it's so symbolic to the children of Yezreel deliverance and how close we are to deliverance if we just hold on and keep doing what we supposed to do. Is our look up, our redemption draws nigh. So that sums up what I want to talk about, guys. I hope this was edifying to your spirit. And yeah, that's it. Take care. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, go to the description box below this video to make any donations. I'm very much in need of donations.